This video is all about getting your energy back. Getting your energy back might require different things. I'm going to cover all 7 reasons why someone is tired. To figure this out, we're going to start with the most important question. When did you start becoming tired? What happened just before this change? Let's go through the 7 reasons. The 7th one I'm going to talk about is the absolute most common and most important. Let's start with number 1, lack of sleep. Why don't people sleep? Well, it could be they're drinking alcohol. Alcohol might make you tired, but it prevents you from going into the deeper sleep. Another reason why people don't sleep is they overtrain. Too much exercise can stir up more adrenaline, and that can prevent sleep. You can also have problems sleeping if you eat too late. So if you have sleeping problems, the earlier you eat in the day, it's going to help you sleep. Consuming chocolate too late in the day can increase something like caffeine called theobromine, which then can keep you up. Now, out of all the supplements that help people sleep, I would say magnesium should be at the top of the list. That can help all of your muscles relax. If you have any spasms or tight muscles anywhere in your body, magnesium is the answer. You want to take magnesium glycinate 1 hour before you go to bed. And then the other nutrient is B1. If you are deficient in B1, you're going to have restlessness, a lot of excessive thinking. And the reason why people are deficient in B1 is usually they have too much stress or they're consuming too many carbohydrates. Since we're on the topic of sleep, there's one really powerful thing you can do. You just have to go outside in the morning between 6 and 8:30 a.m. for 10 to 15 minutes only and just look at the sunrise. And I'm not talking about looking directly into the sun, but if you just look in that direction, it's super therapeutic. There's a lot of other health benefits. And a lot of people don't realize the power of what that can do. Now, this will not work if you're sitting inside and there's a glass barrier. You have to be outside. Number 2, cellular hypothyroidism. The thyroid hormones go into every single cell in your body and they control your metabolism, definitely your energy. So if the thyroid is not working, you're not going to work. Your energy is going to be absent. And a certain percentage of that conversion happens through the liver and the kidney. And if the liver or the kidney is not working that well, that could be the reason. But there's something else way more common that's missing in a lot of individuals, and that is selenium. And the reason why this is even on my radar is I live on a farm, and I have cattle, and I have sheep, and I talk to the vets all the time. They tell me the stories of how frequent it is for animals to have all sorts of issues. That is directly related to a deficiency of selenium in the soil. But the point is, if it's not in the soil, it's not in the animals. The best sources of selenium, Brazil nuts, sardines, shellfish, grass-fed liver, and that's about it. Number 3, stress. There's 2 different aspects of stress I want to talk about. One is a severe stress as a loss, or some type of major stress that's a shock to your system, in which case your immune system actually shuts down because of the spike of cortisol. Cortisol suppresses your white blood cells. And this means that those viruses that are in sleep mode, it's called a latent virus, especially Epstein-Barr virus, even herpes viruses. These are viruses that are very common in people, but you probably don't notice any problems because they're in this dormant stage. And they don't come out until you are under stress. And I can't tell you how many times someone came in my office as a patient and had a major stress event that led to the reactivation of an Epstein-Barr virus, giving them what's called chronic fatigue syndrome. And no one had any connection to that, but I did because I asked the question, when did it start? What happened just before this occurred? And if that's your problem, all you need to do is take a lot of vitamin D to put that thing back in remission. Because one thing about Epstein-Barr virus, herpes viruses, and even Lyme, which is not a virus, it's a bacteria, all of those and others have a strategy of shutting down your vitamin D receptors. So all you need to do is take more to override that. So you need to take something like 30 or 40,000 IUs of vitamin D3 to put the virus back in remission to get your energy back. And then you have, not in a severe stress, but just low stress, it's chronic, and that can affect your sleep, that can make you tired. The best remedy for high cortisol is L-reuteri. It's a microbe. You can make your own, kind of like a cultured yogurt from it. Another way to reduce cortisol is by taking more magnesium and sodium. Other things to reduce cortisol are long walks, especially in the woods. There's a certain kind of a vapor that comes off these pine trees that can go in your body and help calm you down, help improve your immune system, help reduce cortisol. So long walks in the woods, in nature, looking at birds, touching leaves, being in that environment is super healthy for your stress level. Number 4, histamine overload. There's naturally an enzyme in your body to break down histamine. But if you are doing things to shut that enzyme down, then your histamines go higher. What would interfere with that enzyme? Well, alcohol, medications, and gut damage from gluten. But I need to also talk about if you're sensitive to histamines, then I would not be consuming a lot of the following: aged cheese, vinegar, yeah, even apple cider vinegar, canned fish, fermented vegetables, even like sauerkraut or kimchi. Just be aware if you're consuming these foods and you get tired, you could have a histamine sensitivity. And the simple solution is just to avoid them. Okay, let's move on to number 5. This involves blood sugar. If you're consuming higher amounts of carbs or sugar sometime during the day, what's going to happen? Your blood sugars will go up and then come down and then kind of come up and down like that, especially at night. And this is why the person wakes up in the middle of the night. Well, what's that going to do to your energy during the day? It's going to bring it down. And all those carbs are going to be depleting your B1, which is going to cause restless leg syndrome, which also will wake you up. Number 6, things that can break your sleep. If you have things that are causing sleep apnea, that is not necessarily just snoring. That is oxygen deprivation of your brain, which people tend to wake up when they're not getting enough oxygen. There's something really interesting that was recently discovered about sleep apnea. And they were using an MRI and they found the base of the tongue was really fatty, which creates obstruction of air pathways. How do you get rid of that? Do you just cut the tongue out? No, you don't do that. You have to lose weight through the whole body, and then the fat on the tongue will also come down. There's another reason why people have sleep apnea, and it has to do with their gut microbiome. If you start taking a probiotic, you just might find that your sleep apnea goes away. Taking probiotics is a really simple solution to a very major problem, because wearing that mask is just miserable. Some people find a simple remedy for sleep apnea by taping their mouth so that it forces them to breathe through the nose, which will increase something called nitric oxide. That will release more oxygen. Just realize that when you breathe through your nose, you actually get more oxygen into your lungs. Another reason why people can't sleep is the room is too warm. In order to get you into that deep delta wave sleep, your core temperature has to come down just a little bit. So why not keep it a little bit cooler in your room to help yourself sleep? Now, on the flip side, you have people that are too cold and they have cold feet. A simple, amazing trick to help you with that is to warm up some socks before bed, maybe in the dryer, and put those warm, dry socks on. In one study, they found that you can increase the length of sleep by another 30 minutes just by wearing warm socks to bed. And the last thing I want to talk about sleep is getting up frequently to urinate. Boy, there's nothing worse than that for your energy during the day. So what causes that? Typically, it's just too much snacking. You must reduce your carbohydrates. And then number 7, the most important way to get energy. This thing will increase your energy, especially in your brain, and that is upping your protein. I'm talking about quality protein like meat. If you're not doing high quality protein, I can almost guarantee that you are sucking wind and you are tired. So just try it. Up your protein, not with any protein, but it has to be quality. And just with every meal, add more quality protein. This could be the most simple solution to restore your energy. And all of the things that I've talked about are things that I am doing right now. And I can tell you they do work. Please try them and then comment down below if they work for you.